Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Adrian, and we're gonna do something. I'm gonna show you what I've been doing. Um, I am out of caramelized onions in my freezer. You guys have seen me do them before. I've done them a certain way, and I put them in the little bitty containers and put them in the freezer. I'm out of containers. I don't have any. What I do have are mini muffins and mini loaf pans. Now with these, I'm not going to fill them all the way up because I don't need that much caramelized onions, but I can make a thin sliver on the bottom. My thought is, you guys know how I process my ginger and scoop it out and put it in the freezer like Becky over at Acre Homestead's shown us how to do before. So I got to thinking the other day, why can't I do that with my caramelized onions to save space? So I have this big old thing. I've been dipping out of it a lot because it's been 2 days. So we've been eating out of it, and I will leave some of this aside for tonight because we're going to have meatballs for dinner. But if you'll give me a moment, I'm going to get everything ready. But while I'm getting everything ready, I'm going to show you how I got to this point of having them already done. So bear with me. I'm going to show you what I did, and I'll show you how we're going to get them processed, and we're going to do that today. I was trying to figure out what to do with them. They were huge. If you see them, that is one onion in my hand. So they are so hard for me to hold. I cut them in half. It just makes it easier. One day I will take and save the outsides of my onions because I've heard you can dehydrate those and then put them in your food processor to be able to make your onion powder. Have not done that yet, but one day we will. So I put them all in one bowl. It just makes it easier. The pan that I used is my roasting pan that I actually found at the thrift store. I paid $3 for it. That's probably one of my favorite roasting pans. So all I do is very carefully, just as thin as I can, I slice the onions to put into the pan. Now these are sweet Vidalia onions. I have not done white onions or purple onions or any other type of onion or a white onion. I've only used the sweet Vidalia onions. To me, they just give you a better flavor and they cook up better. Now, I call this a caramelization process, but I'm going to be honest with you. I do put these in the oven, as you are going to see here in a bit. I just roast them very slow. I don't even roast them, I just cook them. So the way that I do it, to me, it makes it feel like that I am actually caramelizing at the same time. And it's easier on me to be able to do that in my oven instead of on the stovetop, especially since I do so many. This probably ended up being, I would say, a bag and a half of onions from Sam's. But with as big as they are, I knew that I only needed 2 bags. Because you will see later as to how much I get out of this. And it's amazing to me at how much these things cook down. I'm going to be honest with you. Never knew I would use caramelized onions as much as I do until I started having them in my freezer. That is how many onions I ended up getting when I sliced them. So now I did use this whole stick of butter that is salted butter. I prefer it because you are going to put salt on here. So I just went ahead and used the salted butter. I've started buying salted butter for my baking and my cooking, and I really like it because it just seems like, I know it's just salt, but it just seems like it tastes so much better when I'm roasting or when I'm trying to do things like I'm doing here. Now this is just my way that I like to do it. The taste is amazing and they cook up so well. Like I said, it does take about an hour. So all I did was cut that butter up into 6 pieces because like I said, that's all those onions. So it's going to take all that butter to get in there and help you bring out your flavor. I put them in different places. You'll see me. I was just trying to figure out how to do this. I'll be honest, every time I do it a little different way. So that is my sea salt. And I went in, that is my half tablespoon because my tablespoon measure was dirty at that point. So all you do is, that is a half a tablespoon right there. And I did use another one. So you go in and you just sprinkle it all over. You need the salt. I have tried to do this without the salt. It does not work. Then you're going to take black pepper. That is fresh ground black pepper that I put in my jar. I took my half tablespoon again, and then I just used, actually I used half of the half. So pour that over, because you don't want as much of your that. Now I use white wine. I like the white wine. I prefer it. That's my third of a cup. I just put a little bit in there. It doesn't actually give it a wine taste like a French onion soup would, but it does help go in and give you that liquid, and it just brings out more of the flavors that's in that wine. You don't have to use the wine. I use avocado oil. That was probably about a third of not a third, probably just a couple tablespoons that I had left in that bottle. And then I used my fingers, and all I did was just mix it up in there. And I'm going to tell you, I wish you could have smelled the aromas that were coming off of there. I'm amazed at how much we have really loved using avocado oil. It is amazing. The flavor that comes off of that is actually just something that I can't explain to you. Even my family's like, it just tastes, it almost tastes cleaner. I don't know what it is about it, but it's delicious. So just go through there, rub it all in, get everything mixed together. Of course, before I started with the chopping and all, my hands are routinely washed. Do not worry about that. I did go through and dig the butter back out so that I could put it back on top. Normally, I would put that off on the side, but I liked going ahead and mixing it in with all of these seasonings and things, because to me, it helps flavor the butter before it melts. Crazy, I know. I just like to do different things and see. These were probably some of the best onions that I have done today. This is the next day, and I'm doing this voiceover. And today, at the end, you will see how I prepare these for the freezer. I took 2 of my little pods and threw them in, warmed them up to put on our pizza for lunch today. So it worked great. As you see, I dug out the butter, put it back on top. Now, before I started all of this, I did set my oven to 350 degrees. I'm so sorry, 325. 325 degrees. And then, as I was doing this, my oven had actually gone up to temperature about 10 minutes before I put them in. So I let it come up to temp and then waited 10 minutes. Put them in there. You will see here in a bit that I do end up covering them, but I did start them off uncovered, and they are just beautiful in there. So I just let that sit for about 20 minutes, and I did pull them out, and you'll see it here. But you will see as I pull this out that it's already covered. 20 minutes after I had started letting them cook, they were browning and getting a little toasty, and I didn't want that. So I dropped my rack, covered it, and waited 20 more minutes. So this was 40 minutes after I had started cooking them, and look at how much they have cooked down. I knew at this point it wasn't going to take much more, so I just stirred them up really, really well so that I could make sure everything was coming along. And you can do this as much as you want to. I do like to let them cook down about 15 minutes. Then I'll go in and start stirring them, just because you want to be able to keep them stirred up so that you get all the flavors together, and make sure you get an even cook on those. Now at this point, they had already been cooking for 40 minutes. I knew they weren't going to brown. I just needed them to keep cooking, because you don't want to roast them. You want them to slow cook. And I'm going to tell you, I wish you could have smelled our house. The smell that comes off of these while they are cooking is absolutely amazing. And after an hour, this is what you have. You have basically what I call caramelized onions, but I did them in the oven and not on the stovetop. So I certainly really, really, really hope that you guys try this, because it's absolutely fantastic. All right, I have moved you to where you can see me, see my stovetop. As you saw, those were some pretty big onions. I actually got two of those, 2 bags of onions from Sam's when I did my grocery shopping a couple weeks ago. So I do have a pan with some parchment paper on it. Here's my onions. I do have this and I have this. Now look at my pan. We had smash burgers earlier, so all I'm going to do is try to figure out. Now this wheel, you do have liquid and all left, which I love, because that is where a lot of your flavor is. All that is you saw me, I do like to put white wine in mine. I know that a lot of people do different things. That is just a preference. I've gotten to where I cook a good deal with white wine. So I just put a little bit down in here. So if you have any questions on how I did that, my oven was on 350 or 325. I'll have to double check. Because you don't want to roast your onions. You want to slow cook your onions. I have been battling lately with my my migraines and my chronic illnesses, wanting to kick tail because it has turned off. We've had a couple of cool days here. I am doing these, as you see, in different sizes, because if it's just something that I'm making for a bowl, I'm not going to need a lot, but if I'm making a roast or something, I may need more, so I'm going to do different sizes of these. But we did have several cool days, which kick-started, as you guys, if you've been with me at any time at all, you know how the cold does not like, my body doesn't like a cold. So between all of that and planting season, if you guys haven't seen it, I do have a video up of where we planted our green stalks and did our beds. So our garden is in the ground, in the green stalks, and all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to put more of these because these just turned out so good. So as you saw, I just baked these. It took about an hour, I think, in my oven. I do like to use my roasting pan. Even though I'm not roasting them, it does help with the heat I have found. Now these, since they are mini tins, I'm going to go ahead and just fill them up because I think that's going to be a good size. And you probably look at me and go, Adrian, I just don't have the little containers. I use those little short salad containers, and I don't have any. They're all in my freezer with broths and salsa and everything else in them. You could probably use a scoop like we do with our garlic. But I kind of figure if I could do this and then just put them in a bag, maybe the bag will be easier for me to place than trying to stack up more containers. These onions are just good in so many different aspects and so many different things. Mom is back on her feet again, driving. My sister-in-law moved to Georgia, so Mom started driving last week, and she's been going to the food pantry the last couple of weeks. So yesterday, I was just feeling so bad I didn't get to video what we got, but we got a thing of slider burgers, patties, like you've seen us get before. No, this is not going to be the most beautiful thing because I'm just doing it. It is 5 o'clock, and I've gotten to the point where it's already, like today's in the mid-80s. So I'm outside in my garden when the sun comes up. So by the time 5 o'clock runs around, generally I'm already tired, and today is no exception. My husband worked lunch shift today, so he is already home. So as soon as I get these in the freezer, I'm going to fix us a cold beverage, and I'm gonna go outside because it is warm, and I'll show you what our view is from the garden when we're sitting outside, just because we have the best time. We've really been enjoying our garden and our space this year. We have been deciding on a few extra things that we want to do to make our yard and our garden a little more of our personal space. Let me know if you've seen that gardening video. If you haven't and you've seen this one, will you please go back and watch it for me? He has been helping me video because that has been a lot of my issue here lately with my thought and my brain. I don't have the wherewithal to video talk and have to do the work. So he has actually been helping me. Our Greenstock unboxing video, he helped me. He videoed for me. And the one that we put up where we garden, where we put our garden in, he videoed that one for me. So I would really appreciate if you go back and look at those and let me know how you like the format of those. We're just trying to find an easier way for me to be able to do what I do. And I've got so much that I want to share with you guys. And right now it's taking everything I have just to be able to function as a wife and a mom and a daughter and a person than to do everything. So we're trying to get to the point where we can, because I really love doing this for you guys and seeing you and talking to you. So let me know if you have an easier way to do this. Like I said, I just did not have the other things, but I think this is going to be easier for me to do. I think it's going to be an easier way for me to put it in my freezer. It's going to be an easier way to store. Then I can just pop one out when I want it, or two, just like the garlic. I don't think I'm going to need that other one, because with what I need for dinner and I fill these up, we might have all we need, which will be great, because I have two freezers, so I can put one in one freezer to set and one in another, because these are going to go in the freezer to set up, and these I should be able just to pop out. That's what I like about them. So like I said, I'm going to leave a little bit in here for dinner, which is all I'm going to need. I'm making meatballs. And I'm going to put them in my gravy. I'm going to do a onion gravy. So, alright. So, easy peasy that was. I'm just going to leave that in there, because there's no sense in me messing up another container to put in a container. So, we have these two. That all come out of here. This is a pretty big bowl. So, hold on for a moment. I'm going to swing you around in my freezers. Okay, so this is my, of course, my refrigerator freezer. So, I'm just going to put this on top up here. I've made me a spot to be able to put those. And then, y'all got to show you this too. Let's get you up here. I have been looking for sundresses for this summer, because it's April and already hot. Look at this dress. Look. Love this thing. Love it. Family Dollar, $15. I'm amazed. All right. Those are in there. My seeds are in here too. I might put these over here. I don't know. I keep these in the freezer because my grandma's and my papa and my daddy always used to say keep your seeds in the freezer. So I do. So that's all we're going to do right now. I'll be back with you to show you what they look like. Probably be a couple of hours. So I'll see you soon. All right, it's been 2 hours. I just pulled the pan out. So let me show you what we're going to do with these. I have me back. I'm getting everything ready for dinner. I'm getting dinner ready. So I got me a Ziploc bag. Put caramelized onions on it. And I'm literally just going to pop these off. And I'm going to put them down in this bag. I'm going to lay them out flat in the freezer. Just because they are, I mean, they've been in there a couple of hours, so I know they're frozen. but they're not solid. They're like mostly frozen. So I'm going to lay these down flat in my freezer. And then we will check the other ones. I'm probably going to leave those till in the morning, just strictly because they are in little cups. And I want to make sure they get frozen really good. Because if they don't, I'm not going to be able to pop them out. So essentially that's all I'm going to do is pop them out and put them in that bag as well. I'm not going to say I'll show you when I do that, because honestly, if it's 11 o'clock tonight, I may not even remember. But I'll do those like we do the others, and we'll just pop them out like I did my vegetable broth. You saw me. I'll pop them out and put them in another bag and put them in my freezer. So that is how you can keep caramelized onions in your freezer, and they're already made. We did not realize how much we love them until I started making them and putting them into things. And then when I saw where we could do that, I've been doing it ever since. So that is an easy way to do a bunch of onions and make caramelized onions. So guys, thank you so much for being here. It is almost 7 o'clock and I'm tired. So we're going to eat dinner, and then I'm going to watch a movie with my family. I hope you have a great evening. Hope you have a wonderful day, no matter what time of the day it is that you watch this. And I thank you for being here. And if this isn't your first time here and you're back with me, thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate you guys. If you would just like this video, subscribe, share it with somebody who may need it, who may be looking at doing things like this. We are going to get back on our breads and stuff here soon, just trying to get the energy up to do that. And trying to figure out what I want to do. I've got a list of things I want to do. You guys know that. So, guys, have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. See you next time.